Happy Monday. Welcome to your gentle yoga practice. I'm Candace. You've made it, so just taking a minute here to settle in, take what you need to be comfortable in your practice. And in your own time, you can make your way onto your back, preparing to start your practice in opening Shavasana. Such discipline to come to the mat on a beautiful evening, so I appreciate that. Just taking another moment here as we settle in and start our practice together. Hello, hello, hi. So once you're on your mat, if it feels right in your body, let's take up lots of space on the floor. So maybe offer your ankles a little bit wider than what you typically would. Be wider than hips distance apart. The option of bending the knees if there's any pressure in the low back space. And then let's take our arms generously wide beside our body. Take a moment to scooch the shoulders down away from the ears and then in towards the midline or spine. And then think of lengthening out through the crown of your head so that your chin is neutral. The option of closing your eyes if that feels safe to do so, or softening your gaze to a point on your ceiling. Just allow your jaw to soften here, maybe your lips together. Offer a generous inhale through your nose, and then exhale with a little bit of a sigh, softening down to the mat beneath you. Inhale, feel a gentle lift through the chest. And then as you exhale, sink some weight into the shoulder blades, drawing you down closer to the earth. Inhaling the biggest breath you've taken up until this point. And then as you exhale, if it feels right, allow the breath to now release through the nose. And just staying here in stillness, allowing your mind to begin to settle onto your breath. Noticing the flow as it comes in and out. Not quite trying to change the length or alter the breath quite yet, but simply observing. With your breath now moving effortlessly in and out, let's shift our awareness to our physical bodies. Maybe noticing each point on your body where your weight falls heavy or where it connects with your mat. Maybe starting with your heels, up through the back of your leg into the sitting bones. Your shoulders, the backs of your arms, and the back of your head. And taking a moment here to offer a scan of your body. Just noticing any areas craving or looking for attention in this time. And then once you identify with that, using the mental image of our breath traveling into that space. Every exhale, creating warmth or release in that area looking for attention. Beginning to nourish any tension or tightness with the movement of our breath. The relaxation of the muscles surrounding that space by using the exhale to release. Now releasing any imagery of that body space, let's come back to that breath. If you haven't done so already, moving into whatever form of breath works for your yoga practice. If you're familiar with Dirga and you want to go there into that 3-part breath, feel free to move into that. If you simply want to focus on the inhale and the exhale without molding the breath, that's always an option as well. Whatever form of breath you choose here is absolutely perfect. So try not to give it too much thought. And know that if your mind begins to wander away from your yoga practice, away from your mat, that we can always use our breath to anchor us back to our present moment. Training our brain, our mind, to stay present and focused. As we stay here in stillness, take note of the area of your chest, your shoulders, your neck. Just take an observation without judgment as to how those spaces feel this evening. Can you use your next exhale to melt the shoulder blades down even more so? Can you relax through your jaw, open through the chest? Taking your next inhale deeply in. And then as you exhale, taking that breath all the way down to your heels. Allow the inhale to travel up from the heels, through the back of the legs, up through the spine. And then the exhale to wrap around the chest, down the front side of your body, and all the way to your toes. And then once awareness has settled onto your toes, imagine moving the pinky toes, both left and right. And then allow the movement to gradually work inwards, one toe at a time, till you meet the big toes. And then from there, attempting to spread the toes, draw them back together. Maybe you curl the toes and begin to flex the feet. Allowing the ankles to become involved as they rock a bit side to side. Maybe even taking some circles through the ankle joint. And then eventually allowing the legs to come again into stillness as you take awareness now to the pinky fingers. And then allowing the movement in your hands to come inwards, one finger at a time, pinky working in towards the thumbs. And then once you reach the thumbs, curling the fingers in, wrapping the thumbs strongly around, beginning to roll in through the wrist in both directions. Try to make this movement nice and purposeful. Can you feel the movement through the joints? Maybe making some cracks and crinks as we move. Maybe the elbows become involved now. Releasing the fist, Allow every joint of the hands, the fingers included, to become and find some movement. And then use that exhale to release any movement of the arms or the hands. Come back into stillness. Lengthen out through the crown of your head, so grow a little bit taller as the back of your neck leans out. And then from there, very gently, begin to rock your head side to side. So start with the tiniest of movements. And then as it feels right, you can allow this rocking to become larger. Be mindful of the back of the neck. Try not to overdo it. Really listening to your body, especially when it comes to neck movement. Maybe you take the gaze all the way over the right shoulder. And if you do so, just pausing there, feel the length through the left side of your neck. And then coming back through center, releasing the gaze gently over to the left. And just taking note of stretch through the right side body. Inhale, come back through center. And then from there, let's point the toes. Inhale your arms overhead and take that nice full body stretch. Generously feel your low back space lift away from the mat as you hold this stretch and breathe. We'll take a few rounds of breath here while finding as much length as we have this evening. The option of using the exhale to release, and then the inhale to come right back into that good morning stretch. Maybe every time we see if we can sink weight into the press points on our mat, wherever your body is connected. So every inhale as you fall long, can you equally fall heavy, drawing the press points into the mat beneath you? We'll take this one last time. Big, big inhale, find the length. And then as you exhale, soften down to the mat. Draw the knees in towards your chest and take your arms comfortably around, drawing the knees in towards your midline. And then think of lengthening the tailbone to the bottom of your mat as you draw the knees in nice and close. From there, squeeze the inner thighs together and just offer a gentle rock here side to side. So gentle that the sitting bones only lift about an inch or so. So it doesn't have to be a very large side to side movement, but nice and controlled. And then as the body feels ready, you can allow the sitting bone to lift even more so from the mat. Every time you move side to side, creating a little more depth or more room for movement. Coming back through center, pause there for the inhale. And on the exhale, take the soles of the feet to connect with your mat. Open your arms comfortably beside you. And then take the arms into cactus form. Wrist above the elbows. Elbows generously in line with the shoulders. And just for a moment there, feel the stretch through the front body. Feel the lift through your chest. The stretch all the way through the armpits. And then use your next exhale to release your knees over to the right. Allow them to settle once they meet there. And the option, if cactus arms isn't feeling great in your body, feel free to open up the arms to a T or readjust however suits your body. So holding here with our knees, releasing to the right. If you'd like, you can take your gaze to the left. And then inhaling, coming back through center. Your gaze and everything comes midline. And then you exhale, knees over to the left. Either cactus arms, arms to a T, gaze can be to the right or neutral. Breathing in through that right lung, creating space through the side body. A little lift through the chest. Let's inhale, draw everything back through center. And then once you're there, you can guide your knees once again in towards the chest. Hug them nice and close. Let's take our hands onto the right shin. Interlace the fingers, get a nice hold there. From there, let's lengthen the left leg down to the mat and draw the toes up. Let's find some length through the back of that left leg. And then use the strength of your biceps to gently draw the right knee in towards the body. So toes are drawn up, energetically pressing through both heels, drawing the right knee close to the body. Take a few rounds of breath here as we hold. Every exhale, perhaps finding room for stretch, room for movement. The option of staying right here or taking this into a twist by opening that right arm shoulder height and then using the left arm to guide the right knee over across the body, both shoulder blades melting into the mat. So being mindful here as you move into your supine twist, just going as far as feels right. If you took the twist option, use your next inhale to draw the knee back through center, coming back into wind relieving pose. Hold for a full round of your breath, in and out. And then use the next exhale to lengthen that right leg all the way down to the mat. Lots of control to meet the left. When you're ready, inhaling, left knee draws in, hands wrap around the shin, interlace the fingers. Toes draw up. Left knee draws in towards the body as we find extension through that right leg. See if you can really press the heel into the mat. Good. Notice how that activates the front of the right hip. The option of staying right here, or if you'd like to open up, opening that left arm now nice and wide. And then exhaling, left knee over to the right, crossing through midline into your twist. Your gaze can stay neutral still. If it feels right, you can gently turn the head to look over the left palm. Continuing with that full present breath. Beautiful. Taking the inhale, come back through center if you took the twist. Find your traditional wind relieving pose, both hands on shin. And then from there, use your exhale, lengthen that left leg to come down and meet the right. Inhaling, arms overhead, take that full body stretch. Point the toes, extend out at the fingertips. Find a little more length. And then on the inhale, wrap the arms around, knees draw in towards the chest. And then exhale, soles of the feet come to the mat, wider than hip distance. Arms open to a T. Beautiful. When you're ready, allow the legs to flow with the breath. So the exhale takes the knees to the right. Inhale draws them up. Exhale to the opposite side. So just really resetting our spine here by allowing the flow of the breath to dictate our movement. We're all moving in our own rhythm, our own pace. The option of taking your gaze in the opposite direction of your knees or keeping it neutral. We'll take one more round here, and then when your knees release to the right, I'll ask that you pause there. So allowing the knees to fall heavy. Creating some space here through the left side body. If both shoulders are rooted and grounded, the option now of taking the right foot and gently placing it on the left thigh. Be mindful of any pressure in through the low spine, so just as necessary. But we can begin to allow the weight of that right side body, or right foot rather, to open up or facilitate movement for the left side body. Think of that left knee drawing down first towards the mat, and then secondly towards the short end of your mat. So down and then away from the body. If you took the option of taking that right foot on the thigh, mindfully release, both knees drawing downwards. And then from there, all together, we'll inhale, draw the knees up. And then exhale, knees over to the left now, maybe gaze to the right, allowing for space through the right side body. Breathing fully into that right lung, the option now of taking that left foot and allowing it to gently rest on the right thigh. Again, ensuring that our shoulder blades are evenly rooted here. Thinking of that two-part movement with the right knee down towards the mat, and then drawing down towards the short end of your mat. And noticing here as we hold where your mind wants to go. Are you present with sensation in your body? Are you present with your breath? If that foot crossed over, we can release the cross, both feet touch the mat. And then from there, all together, inhaling, knees come through center. Just allow for a little bit of free movement here, rocking them side to side, releasing and resetting through the spine. And then whenever it feels right, you can rock all the way over onto your favorite side. Take that top hand and press it into the mat. Allow yourself to come to easy seat. Sitting up nice and tall. Allowing the shoulders to soften. Your chin in line with the ground beneath you, a gentle lift out of the crown of your head. Let's inhale, bring the arms overhead. Nice and controlled on the exhale, a little pressure through the palms as we come down through midline. Inhaling, sweeping the fingers, lots of energy through the hands. And then exhaling, coming down through midline. And then once you're about halfway down, coming into your twist, left hand comes across, right hand comes behind. Right shoulder draws back. So twisting through the mid-spine, working your way up. If you'd like, you can take the gaze and over that back shoulder. Holding here for a round of breath. The inhale grows you a little bit taller. Maybe the exhale takes you into a deeper twist. Taking that next inhale, begin to unwind, starting with the crown of your head. Float the fingers all the way up. And then on the exhale, hands together, come to about halfway, and then move right into your seated twist. Your right palm faces away, so that twist is really coming from the mid and upper spine. If it feels right, you can take the gaze over your back shoulder. We inhale to find a little bit of length out of the crown of our heads. And then we exhale as we soften into the twist. Taking that next inhale, begin to unwind, coming through center, arms float overhead. And then as you exhale, the right hand comes down to the mat, fingers walk away from the body as you find that extension out of the left fingers. Think of wrapping the heart open, left shoulder draws back. Continuing to lift and extend out of the crown of the head, your chin away from the collarbones. Beautiful. Inhale, use the side body, slowly come up. And then exhale, left hand comes down, right arm finds the extension right out of the hip. Beautiful. Can you draw the right shoulder slightly back? Find a little lift out of the chin, extension out of the crown of your head. Beautiful. Taking that next inhale, float the left hand up to meet the right, turn the palms forward. And then on the exhale, let's take the wrist down to come in line with the shoulders. And take a moment there to wiggle the shoulders down and then really reach out through all 10 fingers here. And then starting with the pinky, let's begin to draw some movement. See about bending each individual joint. And you can do that a few times, maybe wiggling all of the fingers, making it nice and mindful here. And then eventually wrapping the fingers in, making a fist. And then with those strong fists, we'll take some circles through the wrist. You can take these circles in both directions, just noting where it feels good, maybe moving a little bit more into that space. And then on the inhale, releasing out through the fingers, let's take the left hand across over to the right, and then draw the right fingertips towards the forearm. So holding here, finding a little bit of release. If it becomes too much, you can soften through the elbows. You can give your shoulders a roll as you need to. Good. And then on your next inhale, we're going to flip the palm, reach the fingers up, gently press out through the palm of your hand as you guide the fingers back. And then releasing, give that right wrist a roll. Maybe release the shoulders, give them a roll if any tension is built up there. And then we're going to inhale, bring the arms overhead. Turn the palms forward, come back to shoulder height. This time that right hand comes across, gently guiding the left fingers towards the forearm. So breathing into whatever physical sensations come up here, using the breath to move into this gently. Taking your next inhale, begin to guide the fingers up, pressing out through the palm. And then when it feels ready to release, you can roll both wrists now. Allow the elbows to become involved, soften through the shoulders. Begin to guide the shoulders back, opening through the chest, coming back into our easy seat. Sitting up nice and tall, lift out of the crown of the head. You can allow your hands to gently rest on your thighs, the option of taking the palms up if that feels okay. And then from there, use an exhale to see about marrying our chin down towards our collarbones. So a very slight downward movement here. Begin to feel it through the back of the neck typically. So either choosing to hold here, or the option of keeping the tuck and then seeing about that right ear coming over towards the right shoulder. Sometimes feeling this in through the left neck, maybe through the front side of the body, maybe even down into the shoulders. Be mindful, move gently. As we hold here, notice how we begin to typically find some release. You decide if you'd like to go a little further, or if you're perfectly okay right where you are. If you've taken the ear towards the shoulder, let's use the next inhale to come back through midline. And then from there, gently lift the chin so it once again is in line with the floor beneath you. Take a moment there if you need it. And then when you're ready, you can exhale, tuck the chin once again. The option of staying here in neutral alignment or taking that left ear over towards the left shoulder. Noticing we might have more availability or more space for movement on one side versus the other. That's okay. So breathing and moving here into wherever it feels good. You've taken the ear towards the shoulder. Inhaling, come back through center. And then from there, everyone lifting our chin to neutral alignment. Exhale. Let's inhale. Bring the arms overhead. At the top, we're going to bend the right hand down the spine. Palm is facing our body. Left arm comes across to gently draw the right shoulder, or right elbow rather, backwards. Find a slight contraction here, or engagement of the core, so that our rib cage stays nice and neutral. Nice long spine. And then if you're here and you want to go a little bit deeper, you can release that left arm, sweep it behind the body, turn the palm away, and then see about sweeping the left fingers up the spine until, or aiming to see if we can get our fingers to touch. Whatever variation you're in, think of lifting out of the crown of your head. Chin is neutral with the floor beneath you, and chest is open. So breathing here through any uncomfortable sensation. It should never hurt. We should never be forcing. It might feel a little uncomfortable, and that's okay. It's only for another moment. Good. If you've taken that left hand behind the body, first releasing that. And then from there, we can all release that right hand. Give our shoulders a wiggle. Find release however it suits. And then we'll take that right over to the opposite side. So inhaling, bringing the arms overhead. On the exhale, we're going to take that left hand down. Palm faces the spine. Right arm comes across to gently open up through the chest. And either deciding if this is perfectly okay for you, you're welcome to stay here. The option of taking that right hand now behind the body, palm faces away. First find that length and reach, and then bend the elbow, and then begin to wiggle the right fingers up towards the left. Notice in that movement if you wanted to round through the front body. And if so, adjust to find that space where you can still maintain the broadness through the collarbones. So maybe taking that hand further down the spine, or allowing the right hand to come back up to the elbow. Holding and breathing, finding some space. If that right hand is behind, we can release whenever you're ready. And then from there, we'll all release, give the shoulders a wiggle. Small movements, but very, very intense. So take the time you need. Inhale, arms up. On the exhale, turn the palms forward, reach through the fingers, allow the chest to melt down. Walk the hands away from the body as the crown of your head reaches forward. So the option of keeping your neck in neutral alignment here. If it suits your body and you'd like, you can allow the chin to tuck. Maybe your forehead comes to meet your mat. Allowing for some broadness through the backs of our bodies here, everything beginning to release and wrap forward. Hold for a full round of breath. In and out. And then the next time you're ready to inhale, look forward between your hands. Begin to shift your weight by softening the elbows, pressing in through the fingers. And sweep your way into a tabletop pose. And make your way there however it suits. And then from your tabletop, with your wrist underneath your shoulders and knees under your hips, begin to move through a few flows of cat and cow pose. Spreading the fingers nice and wide to reduce any strain in our wrists. Your belly softens for your cow pose as the heart presses forward. And your spine generously rounds for your cow pose. Your head falls heavy. Noticing any space or any spots in your body that feel sticky, and taking some movement into those areas. Maybe some modifications of cat and cow, some free movement. Beautiful. And take another few rounds here, finding whatever movement is suiting your body in this time. Still being present with our breath and our physical body. And then coming back into our neutral alignment or tabletop pose. Gently lifting from the pelvic floor, extending the tailbone towards the bottom of your mat. And then from there, let's come down onto the elbows. Elbows are underneath the shoulders, wrist in line with the elbows, hips stacked still above our knees. If it feels better moving into puppy pose to take the toes inwards towards one another, that's always an option, so long as our hips stay stacked above our knees. So the option is staying right here on our elbows for puppy pose. If it suits your body, begin to walk one hand at a time away from your body, softening the chest towards the mat. Maybe your forehead comes to meet the floor. Allow the heart to really soften here, the front side of your chest melting down. If you found full extension in puppy pose, and you want to go a little bit further, can you walk the fingers even more so forward? Think of lifting the tailbone up and back so that low engagement, or that low belly engagement rather, is protecting the spine. We'll take another round of breath here in whatever version of puppy pose you're expressing. And then if you have full extension in your elbows, let's find some softness there. Press into the fingertips, begin to walk your hands back in towards your body. If you're on your elbows, one hand at a time, we're going to take the wrist underneath our shoulders and press ourselves back up into tabletop pose. And then from our tabletop pose, find that engagement through the low belly space. Let's take the left hand towards the center of your mat. Spread the fingers nice and wide. And then from there, let's reach the right hand in front of the body, palm faces midline. When you're ready, we're going to sweep that right arm underneath the left, allowing the right shoulder blade to come down to the mat, moving into our twist. Take a moment there to wrap the chest around, top shoulder draws back. If you'd like to find some extension through the left side body, begin to walk the left fingertips forward towards the top of your mat. Continuing to breathe here as we hold. The option here, if you want to add in a little bit of balance, of extending through that back left leg, toes to the mat. Maybe toes float away from the mat with lots of core engagement to help keep you steady. Great. If you chose to take the toes away from the mat and find the leg extension, begin to come back down. Soften the knee. If you chose to find the extension through the left hand, begin to walk that left hand underneath the shoulder. And then from there, on an inhale all together, let's press strongly through the left hand, come back into tabletop pose. And just to find that reset there, it might feel nice to take a few cat-cow variations. Good. Wonderful. So this time now, offering that right hand to come to midline on your mat. Hips are still above our knees. When it feels right, inhale, lengthen out through the left fingers now. Palm is facing midline. And then exhale, sweep it underneath the opposite arm. Left shoulder comes to mat. So taking a moment there just to settle, really focusing on the form, wrapping the chest open. Right shoulder aiming to stack on top of the left shoulder. The option of walking the right hand forward. Really breathing into that right side body. Beautiful. And a further variation of adding in the balance component if you'd like, by extending out through the right leg. Toes press into the mat nice and strong if you're there. Use that core to maybe lift the right toes away. Breathing here as we hold all variations so strong. If you took the toes away from the mat, mindfully allowing them to come down, knee comes as well. If you offer the right hand long, bending the elbow, placing it back into the shoulder. And then taking an inhale to come back, tabletop pose. Wonderful. And from our tabletop, just to reset the spine once again, taking a few rounds of cat and cow. Maybe a little side hip movement, maybe even taking some circles through the hips. And then coming back into our neutral or tabletop pose. Full breath. So taking note here to ensure that our wrists are right underneath our shoulders. And then from there, with the right hand first, we're going to begin to turn the right wrist inwards. So for some of us, it might be a slight internal rotation there. Maybe 10 degrees, maybe more. For others, we might be able to turn the wrist so much that the fingers face the body. Wherever you are, be very mindful of the elbow, mindful of the wrist. It's just a gentle stretch. And then releasing so that the fingers come to forward. And then we'll do that same thing on the left side. So a slight internal rotation or inward movement of the fingers. Start small, notice how it feels. Adjust as you'd like. Mindful of the wrist, mindful of the elbow. Any hyperextension, put a bend into the joints. And then releasing left fingers forward. And let's offer the big toes together. Take the knees slightly wider than the hips and press yourself back into child's pose. Your forehead melts down towards the mat. Might feel nice to offer a bit of a bend into the elbows. Depending what you're looking for, you can really reach out through the fingers. Whatever variation of child's pose suits your body, explore that. Really allowing the front side of your body to fall heavy here. Can you find even more weight through the chest, through your shoulders, and into the palms of your hands? Beautiful. If you haven't done so already, let's bend the elbows so that the elbows are pressing into the floor. And then allow the hands to come together, much like we do with the palms pressing through midline. Your forehead is still melting down. And then if that feels okay in your body, you can begin to lift your fingers so that they point up towards the ceiling. You might feel a little bit of a stretch here in through the triceps, and that's okay. If your fingers are pointing towards the ceiling and you feel you still have some space, begin to point the fingers towards your tailbone, or aiming towards the tailbone. Be mindful of the front side of your body, continuing to breathe nice and full. If you've taken the fingers backwards, we'll inhale, come back so that the hands rest on the floor. Palms come to meet your mat. And then from from there, begin to walk your hands in towards your body. Coming up to kneel, so taking the knees underneath the hips one at a time. The option of rolling up the mat there if you'd like a little bit more cushioning underneath your knees, but we won't be here for too long. The option of coming to easy seat as well if that feels okay. Inhale, let's bring the arms all the way up, touch the palms, and then exhale, come down all the way through center. Take your hands behind the body and then interlace the fingers. Inhale, draw the shoulders in towards the spine as you lift out of the heart. Your gaze can come slightly up and forward. Just be mindful of the back of your neck. And either choosing to stay right here, or if you'd like to take a fold variation, you can use that next exhale to lead with the chest. Allow the wrist to lift, the front body to surrender. Continue to draw the shoulders away from the ears by squeezing the upper arm bones in towards one another. If you took that fold variation with lots of control, engage the core, begin to lift all the way back up. Arm bones are still squeezing in towards one another. And then mindfully releasing the grip. Coming onto your right side, and then taking the legs out in front. Okay, let's find our easy seat once again. This time, crossing what leg comes in front. So if the right leg's typically in front, we'll offer the left in front. And then from there, taking that big inhale, palms touch. Exhale through center, just a nice reset. And then inhaling, arms sweep out in front. Allow that right arm to come across the body, left arm gently guides it. Elbows fully extended or bent. Whatever you can begin to feel that in through that right shoulder girdle is perfect. Okay, allow the right shoulder to drop down away from the ear. We're still lifting out of the crown of our heads. On the exhale, release. Inhale, sweep the arms around. Nice big scoop. This time the left arm comes across the body. Allow the right hand to gently facilitate the movement. Left shoulder is dropping down. Your chin is neutral to the ground beneath you. Beautiful. On your exhale, find the release. Gently take your hands behind your body and allow your arms to guide you back onto the mat. And then once you're there, your knees can come in towards your chest. Just take a moment here to find release, however it suits your body. Beautiful. Eventually, allow the soles of your feet to come and meet the mat. And then from there, one leg at a time, let's lengthen out. Beautiful. And then inhale, bring the arms overhead. Take that full body stretch by pointing the toes and extending out through the fingers. And then